Welcome to my series where I take $50 worth of Walmart groceries and turn it into 5 delicious dinners. First up were these bean and cheese burritos. They were so flavorful and cheesy. Add a 1/4 cup of cooking oil to a pot and drain and rinse 2 cans of pinto beans. Into the pot they go with a cup of water and the following seasonings. When making these grocery lists, the only things I don't add are a basic cooking oil and salt and pepper. Bring this up to a light boil and just start mashing it until it becomes smooth. Meanwhile, I started heating these flour tortillas. I love these Marketside flour tortillas. They really do taste authentic, and they just started baking them in their bakery. All of the meals in this budget series will serve 4 people, and these tortillas come in a pack of 8, so I'm going to be making 8 burritos. I topped each tortilla with a generous handful of cheddar cheese and then a couple tablespoons of those refried beans. While you're rolling these up, be gentle. One of mine did tear, but this just kind of shows that they are those thinner, authentic tortillas. To make them even tastier, I seared them on both sides in a buttered skillet, and these turned out so delicious. Dip in some salsa or sour cream to make them even better. The next meal was smothered chicken over white rice with some buttered corn, and it was so comforting and delicious. I love how delicious and affordable chicken thighs are. I added in some oil, salt, pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, and paprika. You really know your chicken is well seasoned when it starts to change color as you work the seasoning into the chicken. Before I started cooking the chicken, I got started on our instant jasmine rice. I cooked 4 servings of this. We're going to need the other 4 servings in that box for another meal this week. I added some cooking oil to a skillet and started searing the chicken on both sides until it was nice and golden and hit an internal temperature of 165 degrees. After the chicken is cooked, I removed it from the pan and set it aside, and now I've got all those delicious golden chicken bits to make my gravy. Melt the butter into this skillet, stir in the flour, and stir it for a minute or 2 before adding in your water, some milk, and your seasonings. This all gets whisked together and slowly starts to thicken into the most savory, delicious chicken gravy. I used a stand mixer to shred up my chicken, and I added it over the rice, poured the gravy on top, and served it with some buttered frozen corn. This was so good. I try to keep all of my meals really family friendly, and these buttered noodles with the red meat sauce hit that mark. I cooked some pasta in some heavily salted water, then got started on browning my beef. Now, with the budget series, I try to get a fattier meat. It's always cheaper. It does require a lot of draining, but it really tastes good in the end and costs a lot less. I seasoned the beef with salt, pepper, garlic powder, and onion powder, added in the spaghetti sauce, and then I added a full stick of melted butter to those noodles before serving the meat sauce over the top. It really just takes it to the next level. Next, I made buttermilk chicken thighs baked in the oven. I served it with a chicken rice and broccoli. Since this is a budget series, I didn't actually purchase buttermilk. We're going to get smart and use what we have. I added enough milk to the bowl to submerge my chicken in, as well as a good splash of vinegar and a bunch of seasonings. These can be eyeballed. You want your chicken to sit in this marinade as long as possible so it can get more tender and flavorful, so anywhere from 2 hours to 24 hours. Once you're ready to cook, again, we're going to eyeball this and pour in a bunch of flour, salt, pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, and paprika. Mix that all together and dredge our chicken into it. Give the chicken a good shake before adding it to a baking sheet to set. Now you've got 2 different options for baking the chicken. If you're feeling brave, you can fry your chicken in whatever cooking oil you have available, although I did decide to just brush the tops of mine with oil and bake at 350 for about 30 minutes. They still turned out crispy and super flavorful. If you want a slightly crispier texture, I would just go with frying. For the chicken rice, just cook the jasmine rice according to package directions, but stir 2 teaspoons of chicken bouillon powder into the water before cooking so you have that added flavor. We finish with some broccoli for some extra color and nutrition to add to our week. I must have been in the mood for comfort food this week because this last meal is biscuits and gravy, but who doesn't love a delicious breakfast for dinner? Add 4 cups of self-rising flour to a large bowl, then grate 2 sticks of salted butter into the flour. Work the butter into the flour with your hands. This recipe calls for 2 cups of buttermilk, but we're going to make our own again, so fill up the 2 cups almost all the way with milk, but then add a splash of vinegar. This budget series really shows that just because you have a tight grocery budget doesn't mean your meals don't have to taste good, and your kids can have fun helping you cook too. Once your dough comes together, you're going to add it to a floured surface and use a biscuit cutter or a little cup and just form your biscuits. Brush them with some melted butter and bake at 450 for about 15 to 20 minutes. You guys won't believe how easy it is to make your own homemade gravy. Just add a pound of breakfast sausage to your pot, get it nice and browned, stir in 3 tablespoons of flour, give it a nice stir and cook out that flour a little bit, then add in 3 cups of milk. That gravy is going to slowly thicken up and turn out so delicious. I hope you guys enjoy each and every recipe this week and that it helps your family. I will have the grocery list written in the comments so you know exactly what to buy to stay at that $50 mark. If you like written recipes, you can find them on my Substack, which I will also put in the comments. If this is your first time ever seeing me here on YouTube, make sure to follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok to see all of my previous budget meals. All of my previous budget meals are also on my Substack as well.